Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we are continuing our playthrough of Lufia and the Fortress of Doom, covering up until we complete the Tower of Light. But before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
I'm sick.
Ew!
No.
It's not terrible, but it's bad enough for me to stay home from work.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to stay home for work. But I'm sad that you're sick.
I'm also job searching because my job isn't paying the bills very well, and job searching is the worst thing in the world to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It's probably what got you sick.
Yes.
It's really, really bad. My birthday was yesterday as of time of recording, and I had a really rough start. The night before, I was like, I'm going to make myself a birthday cake because I like baking, and I'd like to have a birthday cake, which means I got to make it myself. And then I went to do that, and I fucked it up in like the stupidest way possible. I'm not going to get into how I fucked it up because it's too embarrassing. But let's just say I did, and then in the process of fucking up that batter, I used up so many eggs that we didn't have eggs left over for me to try again because I had a second box of the box mix. So I didn't have a birthday cake. And that's, who gives a shit about that? But it kicked loose a lot of feelings about like where my life used to be like 5+ years ago before I transitioned, and the way my birthdays used to go, and the way my life used to be. And I was just really sad. And then people on the internet helped. And then I took a walk to the nearby diner and had hot chocolate and brunch, and that was nice. And then for my actual like birthday, calling it celebration is silly, but I basically just did an 8-hour call with close friends and partners, and we watched Wicked together, and we just talked about whatever the fuck we felt like for hours. One of my partners got me Fields of Mysteria,
Nice.
and I played it a little bit, and I'll probably talk about that maybe a little bit in post-show. But, it was just a good time. I had a really lovely, lovely birthday. It was a nice reprieve, because, like, the only other thing I can say about my last week has been, I'm starting to try to acclimate to living in a near constant state of fear, and I hate it a lot, and it's really bad.
It's real bad.
How about you, Sam? What have you been up to?
So the horrors out there are the horrors. This is a happy place, so we won't go too far into it, but you should pick one thing to do to resist today and then take care of yourself. Don't go crazy. But so besides all of that, I started my book club with Trish, and by book club I mean
it was
an
so
club.
good. I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, I didn't do an episode yesterday. I'm going to say that I was nice and I gave Trish the day off, but what actually happened is I just got real busy and then the gym closed. But I just real simple, just walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes while watching an episode of Recreators that Trish mentioned in the post show last week or week before or whenever. And it's real good. That show is real nice. I big recommend it if you are a person who has enjoyed any Japanese culture over the past 30-40 years.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good. I also played a game without telling anybody. If you follow me on Blue Sky, either of you might have seen it this morning, but they added Final Fantasy 1 to Apple Arcade. So I downloaded it just kind of on a whim to be like, oh, let me just mess around in Final Fantasy 1 while I'm like waiting for code to compile or whatever. And then I binged the whole game and I beat it in 2 or 3 days.
It's a fairly fun time.
Yeah, so Dragon Quest 1, I recommend that everybody play it on the default on the phone and just go through it, experience it how it was intended to be experienced. But for Final Fantasy 1, put on those boosters, dude. Just put on the experience and the gold boosters and just vibe with it. It is a much nicer game when you're doing it as like an adventure game than as a hardcore RPG. All of the qualms that I really have with the game are some of its hardcore RPG choices, and when you don't have to worry about all of those, it's just a fun, chill time.
I think it being a hardcore RPG can be fun too, but it's definitely not the greatest at that.
Yeah, there are a couple things that if I were going to do a more serious, not like on my phone clicking auto battle while I'm doing other things, sort of things. The Pixel Remaster adds Phoenix Downs, which weren't there in the original, and they add ethers and dry ethers and elixirs, which weren't there in the original, which makes some of the hardcore stuff easier because now you can revive in the middle of a dungeon where you couldn't before. And I feel this one would be a fun one to do as a hardcore RPG, but it's also really cool to just vibes and explore the world and see all the times where they said Bahamut for the first time and things like that.
And listen to the really good arrangements of the old music.
Yes. There are so many mods for the PC version to like restore old versions of this soundtrack. And I'm like, why would you ever want to? This shit is really, really good. But yeah, other than that, I can't think of anything else that even happened because I just played a lot of video games this week, which is cool. I don't get to do that a lot. I'm like stupid close to finishing Xenoblade 3. I have several nights this week. I'm like, all right, I'm going to tuck into bed at about 10. I usually don't sleep until about midnight or 1, so I'm going to finally finish Xenoblade 3, and I would fall asleep in like 15 minutes. So I'm very close to beating the game, but I have not actually done it yet. So yeah, things I also haven't done is play Lufia for this week. I'm on a Let's Play because I was going to play it this afternoon, and we're recording a little early. So let's talk about what game I didn't play this week. Lufia 1.
You missed a lot of good gameplay and
You
not a
did.
lot of plot. So the party heads through the town of Ranks on the way to Odell. Nothing happens there.
Yeah.
They then pass through a tunnel which has a really weird invisible wall puzzle, which I couldn't find any hint for, so I looked it up. Trish, did you find any hint for this?
I did, or I know of one. There is one.
Oh,
Wait. For what? My brain is. Bleh.
the first tunnel we go through this week where
Oh,
there's the invisible walls.
someone. Yeah. So the I didn't get any hints. I did figure it out eventually, but it is really annoying.
Yes,
It's like it's weird because I think depending on how you move through the maze, like the walls aren't consistent, so it's really hard. I may have just been imagining that.
I'm not sure, but there's this guy who lives in a cave.
Is it a mysterious old man?
Yes. It's a Lufia NPC that lives in a cave. Of course, it's a mysterious old man.
Did you
But-
figure out the puzzle of the mountain tunnel? I've given up, but I'll tell you what I know. Oh, he just fucking tells you a lot of it.
I'll see most of it.
Well, that's nice. I didn't find this mysterious old man.
Yeah, there are a lot of caves in this section of the game, so he's easy to overlook.
Anyway, they get through the tunnel somehow, and the party arrives in Odell, and hears that Shia has left for the town of Eris, which is on the other side of a tunnel, because if there's two things this game loves, it's tunnels and towers.
It's true.
But the party finds that a bridge in the tunnel has collapsed. They can't get through.
Oh no.
Oh
Back in Odell, They meet an architect named Piran who says he'll fix the bridge, but he'll need us to find his buddy in the town of Leiden. We go do that and return to Odell. Piran asks us to go check on the bridge's condition while they go get their tools. Pretty sure it'll still be broken, but okay. We go look at the bridge again, then return to Odell and talk to Piran again. Piran and his buddy head to the cave, and we walk all the way back there too. When we arrive, Piran asks us to go through some dungeon and get on a cliff overlooking the pit so we can supervise the reconstruction of the bridge. We do that.
This whole sequence, it truly made me laugh from how pointless the back and forth is.
There's so much back and forth. This game is lucky its gameplay is good.
Yes.
And then I can speed up the battles because the battles go pretty slow. Oh, not terribly slow, but a little slow. When the bridge is complete, Piran and his buddy head back to Odell, and we go back around to the bridge and finally cross it. Deep in the cave, we find a door sealed with magic. Totino's and Jaren both try to break the seal with their own magic, but fail. Aguro does not have magic, so Lufia tries, and she succeeds. Because she's good at magic, and also I think she's probably special.
There's
Probably.
some sort of special thing going on.
The party proceeds. We arrive in Eris, the city of magic, where we hear that the locals put the seal on the door, but no one seems mad that we broke the seal, just impressed. And I would think the seal was probably there for a reason.
Yeah, right?
But they don't care that it's gone. The townsfolk are so impressed with our seal-breaking powers, they say we should go meet the Elder, who's at the top of the Tower of Grief. Tunnels and towers! Shia is nowhere to be found, so we might as well go and do that. The party reaches the top of the tower and meets Flake, the Elder. Flake can sense from Totino's energy that they're here about the Sinistrals.
I love that this is like the first time that like one of the characters is like, I think it was this scene was just like, wow, you really can't just tell a lot about us from our auras or whatever, right? Like, finally a character comments on the fact that people keep meeting Totino's and are like, I could tell. I could sense from your aura that you're clearly Maxim's descendant.
And you fought a Sinistral.
Yes, every time you fought a Sinistral.
Flake is so impressed by Lufia's magical abilities that he says he'll unlock her hidden potential. He tells her to close her eyes. He recites a spell, and Lufia gains 10 MP.
Incredible.
She can cast Bang one more time before resting at an inn. This is her hidden potential.
Spell. My most used spell.
It's a good spell.
It's a good spell.
So that was a little anticlimactic. I was expecting to get like a brand new spell that would be really badass.
Same.
I wanted Meteor Man.
See, I expected nothing, just a purely, your potential's been unlocked or something. So when I got a tangible thing, I was glad at least for 10 MP. It's better than nothing.
I suppose so. The party asks Flake about Shia and finds out he left for his lab just a bit ago. Time to head to the lab and hope that this time he hasn't run off again before we arrive. We go to the lab and sure enough we meet Professor Rail Shia. There's a genuinely funny scene here, but long story short, the party asks about underwater travel, and Shia's like, yeah, I've built a submersible boat. It's called Falcon, because falcons swim underwater. Come check it out.
It's named Falcon because it swims underwater and not because there's a really popular fast ship called the Falcon of the Millennium or something like that. Surely it's not a reference to Japan's favorite Western movie.
Turns out the submarine sucks ass.
It does.
It's so funny.
Shia insists that they take a ride on it anyway. They do so, but it's leaking. The Falcon is sturdy enough to sail on the surface, but it can't travel underwater like this. Shia gives the party the Falcon and tells them to meet him at his other lab, because we couldn't possibly receive our next fetch quest here. We definitely have to sail across the ocean first. And this guy has a lot of labs. Where is he getting his funding? I thought we heard that his stuff doesn't pay well. and
I
that his
don't
son has to
know.
steal to get by.
Right? He has 3 labs.
Maybe whoever's funding him is just very specific about how he spends the money. It has to actually be for the research.
Yeah, he has 3 labs and no room for a child. It's just he
Yeah.
simply doesn't have any space for it. It's filled with his science stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there is dangerous stuff in there, like the machine that turns humans into frogs. So
Yeah. And then don't worry, he later then made so he can turn a frog into a turtle or something. And they're like, "Well, is the guy human?" Oh yeah,
it just
it's
took a
fine.
while.
It just took
He
a
got
while.
better.
He got better. It's so good. It's
Um,
a little hit or miss, but the jokes of the professor are pretty good.
yeah. Um, so when the party arrives at this other lab, Shia immediately asks them to go to the town of Baku and fetch his assistant Cooper so he can help repair the Falcon. So we go to Baku and we hear that Cooper went to the old cave. So we go to old cave. We find Cooper. We go back to Shia's lab. Shia tells us that in order to fix the Falcon, he'll need 7 pieces of a metal called alumina. Apparently not of any particular size or anything,
Nope.
just, 7 pieces.
Yeah.
Shia tells us to talk to a man named Brant in the town of Linz to learn more about where to acquire alumina.
See, if you go to a car dealer, and ask them, you definitely need like a used car dealer, but if they have Chevy cars, they could have Illumina. That's the only car joke I can make because it's the kind of car my ex drove. I'm so sorry. Dead silence after that.
Hmm. So to get to Linz, we need to pass through the Tower of Light north of Baku. Tunnels and towers. We go to Baku to get the key to pass through the tower, but the mayor says the key was stolen by a mysterious old man who's hiding in the tower. More mysterious old men.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the tower. Luckily, the front entrance doesn't lock, just the back entrance that goes to Linz, so we can get in. After a grueling dungeon, we reach the summit. Do towers have summits? I should probably have said roof.
I think summit technically just means the very top, but yeah, roof is what most people say.
Summit just feels like a weird word to use for a man-made structure. But anyway, we find the mysterious old man, and he's like, "Who dares disturb our chance for Aemon's revival? Aemon is one of the Sinistrals. This is bad."
Oh no!
No.
The mysterious
This
old
isn't just
man.
a mysterious old man, it's an advanced mysterious old man.
Exactly. The mysterious old man attacks, and boy howdy is he strong. His spells hit hard.
He is fairly tough. I did that thing where I got a certain amount of way in the fight and was going, this is turning bad. Luckily, I did a save state the first turn. Let me just see how this could have turned out with different RNG. And then I wrecked his face, and it was like, okay, good.
Yeah, one thing that is nice about him is that he'll often use a spell to lower your defense, but I don't think he does any physical attacks.
He doesn't. He only uses magic, according to the.
So the defense lowering spell is basically just a free turn.
Yeah.
I did get one on one of my attempts. He used it a lot, but he still beat me. I had to grind until I unlocked some new spells, one of which increases the whole party's magic resistance and one of which heals the whole party for a little bit. And then I was able to get through it, but it was still hard.
I haven't gotten the whole party magic resist one. I wish I did have that for this fight. It would have been nice.
Yeah, it's really nice to have.
I am glad that I have gotten to the point where I have boost the whole party heal spell, and I just say how truly insane it feels that we're this far in the game, and it's like, oh, here's a full party heal spell. I'm like, now I had to go without for so long. There's not even items that do it. I have to, if I want to heal mid-fight, I'm sitting here either using potions or using strong or stronger, one person at a time, and now I get it?
But don't you appreciate it all the more?
No. I'm
Yeah.
an ungrateful bitch.
You should play some Dragon Quests and see how long it takes you to get some useful healing
I
spells in
have
that
played
game.
Dragon Quest. I played Dragon Quest 1, in which there are no other party members. All spells heal the whole party in that game.
Yeah, famously in Dragon Quest, you don't get a revive spell that actually is useful until like the end of the game. You get one that's it's like a 50% chance of even working, and if it does, they come up with like a pittance of HP. And it's good actually.
It's hilarious. I love it.
It sounds like it would be really bad, but it just the strategies that you have for a Dragon Quest game are just way different from every other JRPG, so it doesn't feel bad when it's in Dragon Quest, but it is very funny.
Also, in the ones where you can get a revival item, you get one of them at a time. After the party kills the old man, Eamon appears. He says the energy of our battle revived him. He recognizes Lufia and says it's just as Gades said. I wonder if Lufia is special.
Yeah, we'll never know in Totino's in the Fortress of Doom.
Gades appears too. Eamon and Gades could easily kill our party right now, but they say they don't have time to toy with us. Classic.
Classic.
Man, imagine if in all the JRPGs, when the super overpowered villain appears and is like, I don't have time to toy with you, if he just killed the party. There'd be so many fewer JRPGs.
We would be we would currently be done with Star Ocean 2.
Oh yeah, we would.
Yeah.
There's a book I've been reading where I love that they call out that a faction among the villains have a tendency to go on grandiose gloats and speeches at points when they could be fighting and killing you, and how that's honestly just a very big tactical advantage, and I appreciate that.
Nice.
Shout out to the Fused from Roshar. They're great.
So Eamon says the great reunion draws nigh, and even now their brother Douse awakens. Uh-oh.
That's not good.
So Eamon and Gades disappear. The party dusts themselves off and states their determination to find the dual blade and defeat the Sinistrals. And these notes are short, but very little happens in this game's plot. Most of the dialogue is just memorable moments type stuff. So let's go to our memorable moments and talk about it.
Deal.
What?
Is it deal? Like,
Oh, I thought you said eel.
No deal.
I thought you said eel like the animal.
no.
I was very confused. I was like, was there a part about an eel in this chapter?
So, I only have a couple because I haven't played, and these are just things that were in the Let's Play. But the town of Leiden, everyone there is a professional chef. It is known for its culinary greatness. And if you go to the weapon shop, you can buy a frying pan, a small knife, a pot, a chopping block, and an apron and a goblet. And those are the weapons that they have, and they all suck.
Yes.
But it's so good.
It's really funny.
It's so. I love how much character is in like almost every location you go to in this game. Like they don't feel like generic JRPG towns. There's some fun nooks and crannies in each one that feel satisfying to dig into.
Definitely.
Speaking of a nook and or cranny, remember earlier we talked about a couple of episodes ago. We talked about there was this there was this mention of a place called the Isle of Abandon. Well, we have a ship now, so I went over to the Isle of Abandon, which does, as they said, have every item you've ever sold there. But it also has new stuff you can get, which is good. But even better, there is a shop there where everyone who works there is a woman dressed like a bunny girl. You might have noticed in this recent part of the game, there are places where if you're digging around for stuff in like people's homes, because if you know what to look for, there are specific interactable things in people's homes in every town that have stuff in them. You can have found a bunny girl suit. They sell them at this place, as well as bunny ears, which are horrible equipment. That I think the only possible benefit they might have is I'm guessing they don't weigh very much, which might be good on Lufia if you don't mind her almost dying all the time. Um, but and I think they also sell like toothpicks or something. Nothing you need. But here's the problem: if you try to leave the store, they refuse to let you leave until you've bought something. They come up and they're like, "Oh, are you really gonna leave without getting anything?" And they guilt your party into going back, and you have to buy something. And if you do, it is implied that they slap Totino's ass.
That's fantastic.
It's so good. I love it. I would like to go to the Bunny Girl store where if you buy something, they slap your ass.
That sounds pretty great.
Another thing I saw, I don't know if this was retranslated in y'all's retranslation, but the upgraded mimic enemy is called Mimicker. As in mimic, mimicker, mimicist. And
that's fun.
That's very funny.
Ours isn't a full retranslation, but there are a number of things where like the names of things are. I think it's mainly just the names of things like Sylph and some of the enemies and all the alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
The gold mimics. Speaking of the gold mimics, I hate them so much. I mean, they're worth a lot, but to figure out how to take them down can be annoying, especially because they're the kind of metal slime enemy that will flee. But if they don't flee, they can really fuck your party up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I find it funny that you fight mimics just as random battles, not when you find a fake chest. They're just random battles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We already talked about the frog machine.
We did.
Pretty much everything with the professor is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So last week we fought a monster called the Me, and we were like, "Oh, these are so cute. They look like they have little green pumpkins for heads." And then this week you fight Halloweens, which have little green pumpkins for heads, but like for real this time, and it's very cute.
It's very cute. I just remember, speaking of the professor stuff, I love when I first went, like, I just went into his lab because his main lab is under the castle. And I was just exploring the town, so I went to his lab, which let me, they basically has portals that go other places. So you can go to a bunch of different spots, but as you're exploring, you might notice, looking at the sprite work, that, like, this dude, it looks like he has computers and has, like, at, like, 1980s tech level. And I'm like, what? What? Like, I don't know, it feels very Ultima in like the complete disconnect between tech level and the rest of the setting. And I kind of love it, but it's just so wacky. Like Bill building a submersible. Him building a submersible, I'm like, well, of course, you could do that with magic or whatever. I've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. But like, no, he has way too advanced technology, and it's delightful. But it also works terribly.
Are these copy machines?
That's what I thought. They look like copy machines.
Oh, they do. I didn't think of that, but they do. They do look like the Xerox.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. I love stupid shit like that.
And he has two, so that the entire office doesn't have to share one. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Except most people just default to just picking the top one on the list, and so the one that's second on the list never gets used. And so when that one goes down, everyone puts in a ticket saying that printing is down because no one even thinks to use the other machine. But I'm just talking about my work week.
I don't have any other memories.
Usually
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, in most offices I've worked in that have two printers, I can only find one, and I don't know where the other one is, and I'm too scared to ask.
Some places you can pool the jobs, like on this print server, so that could be what happened there. But it could be that the reason everybody only ever uses one is because they don't know how to find the second one.
Yeah.
So another quick little mem that I have is the underwater looks really pretty in this game.
It does.
It
I
looks
like it a
very
lot.
pretty, and I like the music in general. Again, the store themes, because it seems that I think there's more than one. The store music is really good in this game.
Hmm.
I like the music in this game. I like the graphics in this game. I like the gameplay in this
Agreed.
game. And there's nominally a story in this game.
There is.
This game, and I mean this in the best way, as a Tales fan, this game feels like a Tales game in that the character moments and the way that the plot stuff happens is really, really good, even if the plot is walk around in circles and do a lot of cool dungeons. And I like it a lot. It's if it had skits, it would be even better.
It's a lot better than the Tales games that we've played in Tales of
Absolutely.
Podcastia for sure.
Absolutely.
It has good dungeon design.
Oh, the dungeon design is delightful. Even the one area where it's like, oh, there's a bunch of different entrances to the same tunnel, and you have to kind of like figure out. And it's like you could talk to someone. They say like, oh, you have to go around a different way. There's only one entrance. It's kind of hidden. That's the one that goes to where you want to go. But like, there's just so much dungeon in the dungeon, and it's delightfully laid out,
Mhm.
and it's just enjoyable to play through. And I'm also still going back to the old cave every so often, even when I don't need to. Just for the fun of doing any more dungeon and more treasure.
Yeah. And one thing that there's not in this game is timing puzzles where you have to step on a switch at the same time as your crazy kooky party member.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You do have a crazy kooky. Well, I don't know if she's crazy and kooky, but she is half elf. We do
Mhm.
have one of those, but we don't have that. And I have a feeling you're never going to let that go.
It's the literal worst thing I've ever touched in a JRPG. And I don't think it's close. I cannot think of another more infuriating mechanic in an RPG.
Why doesn't she just do it normal?
Why doesn't she just be like, oh, we have to press these at the same time? 1, 2, 3, press. No, she has to dance and faff about. It's stupid. I hate it. It's worse than the dolphin. I used to say that the dolphin was the worst, but no. Arch's timing puzzle is the worst thing in RPGs. You heard it here first, folks. And by here first, I mean I've said it for the past 2 or 3 years since we played that game.
It sounds awful.
If I recall correctly, the dolphin in Final Fantasy VII, the trick to it is you literally just, without moving, you press the jump button, then you press the jump button again without moving, and it gets you in the right spot.
Mhm.
And I think in when we were covering it on the podcast, I mentioned that, and other Sam got really mad, if I recall correctly.
Oh, other Sam. He was at my birthday party yesterday.
Oh yay.
Nice.
We watched Wicked together. Well, he watched like the last half hour. Oh god, what was I gonna say? That just you talking about that just makes me think of what I not really a JRPG, but it just makes me think of the most inferior thing in my head with that sort of thing, which is in the Oracle Zelda games, the fucking dancing puzzle, the dancing mini game.
Minigame.
I hate it so much. It's so bad.
I love it. Unironically.
I don't. The sound effects from it are still in my head.
But that game is not Lufia. So I think we
No,
are
I think
completed talking about
yeah.
Lufia for the day. So if you like what you heard this week, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you'll get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gad About tier gets access to our bonus feed, where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show that are backer only. At $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets the above, but I also shout out their names at the end of every episode, like this. Shoutouts to Frosthair, Dragon Slayer 19, Kildranas, Ferdy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a one-sentence shout-out to whatever it is they're passionate about. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimke, who says, the shades of the ninth were deep and shifty, and they were bruise-colored and cold. And shoutouts to It's Claire Time, who says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game, I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks. Trish?
Oh, bye-bye. I forgot I usually do that.